Welcome to today's episode of the System Podcast, where we will explore a topic that's deeply relevant to every medical student and professional, the hidden curriculum. My name is Yahuza Haruna, a medical student at Bayero University, Kano, and like many of you, I've come to realize that there's so much more to medical education than textbooks and exams. From navigating hospital hierarchies to adapting to limited resources, the unspoken lessons we learn shape not just our careers, but our entire approach to life. In this episode, we will uncover the hidden curriculum's role in Nigerian medical education. We will discuss the unspoken rules of clinical practice, managing interpersonal dynamics, and how to balance personal and professional growth. You'll hear real stories, actionable advice, and insights that will help you thrive in your journey. Medical education isn't just about facts. It's about developing habits of thought and action that define us as doctors. So let's dive in and discover the lessons no one talks about, but every doctor needs to know. Now, the elements of hidden curriculum. Know that we have introduced the hidden curriculum. Let's dive into its core elements. Sorry, I mean to say now that we've introduced the hidden curriculum, let's dive into its core elements. These are the building blocks of this unspoken framework that shapes every medical student's journey. The first element is hierarchies and power dynamics. If you have ever been on a ward round, you've likely noticed the clear chain of command. Consultants at the top, followed by resident doctors, interns, and then students. While this structure helps maintain order, it also sends subtle messages. For instance, when a consultant's opinion is rarely questioned, students may internalize that speaking up or challenging authority is discouraged. Even when they have valid concerns, this can be especially tricky in a setting like ours in Nigeria, where cultural norms already emphasize respect for elders and authority figures. Next, let's talk about cultural norms in medical education. These are the behaviors and values that are silently passed down from one generation of doctors to the next. Have you ever heard phrases like, "This is how we've always done it," or seen practices that aren't evidence-based but are still followed because of tradition? These cultural norms can teach resilience and resourcefulness, especially in resource-limited settings like ours, but they can also perpetuate outdated practices that need reform. Another critical element is ethical dilemmas and decision-making. This is perhaps one of the most challenging aspects of the hidden curriculum. Imagine you are observing a senior doctor who has to decide between following protocol and saving a patient's life in a critical moment. What do you learn from that situation? The hidden curriculum teaches us that medicine isn't always black and white. It's about judgment, balancing competing priorities, and sometimes bending rules to achieve the greater good. But here's the catch. These lessons aren't always explicitly discussed, leaving students to figure out the nuances on their own. Finally, let's not forget communication and interpersonal skills. These aren't taught in classroom, but are vital for success. Think about how doctors interact with patients, colleagues, and even non-medical staff. A simple gesture of respect towards a nurse or a few extra moments spent listening to a patient can teach you the importance of empathy and teamwork. On the flip side, if a senior doctor dismisses a patient's concerns or undermines a colleague, those actions also leave an impression. So as we reflect on these elements, hierarchies, cultural norms, ethical dilemmas, and communication, remember that the hidden curriculum is always at work. It's teaching you, shaping you, even when you don't realize it. The key is to be mindful, recognize these lessons, question them when necessary, and actively choose what to take forward into your career. Because at the end of the day, the hidden curriculum isn't just about learning medicine. It's about becoming the kind of doctor you aspire to be. Now let's dive into the sources of the hidden curriculum. Okay, unlike formal lessons, these are the unspoken truths we absorb through observation, interaction, and experience in the medical field. One major source is the behavior of senior doctors and mentors. Think about it. As students, we often observe how consultants or registrars handle difficult situations. For instance, when a senior doctor prioritizes patient care over rigid protocol during an emergency, you are learning something powerful. You see flexibility in action, how the reality of saving lives sometimes demands bending the rules. But here's the flip side. If that same senior consistently dismisses patients' concerns or belittles junior colleagues, you might unknowingly internalize dismissive attitude as part of being a strong doctor. Another source is peer interactions and group dynamics. This is especially true in environments like medical school, where teamwork is crucial. Imagine being in a study group where competition outweighs collaboration. Over time, you might start to see your peers as rivals rather than allies. And this is clearly what we normally see in the setting of our own medical school here, where we are being advised to do group discussions as one of the best way to use to grasp hard concepts. But nobody ever tell us the hidden things we will learn from group discussions, like trying to see our allies as competitors. This also shape our approach to teamwork in the future. On the other hand, working with supportive peers teaches you the value of shared knowledge and collective growth, a lesson that's just as important as clinical skill. Then there is the hospital environment itself. Every hospital has its own culture, which influences what you learn. In resource-limited settings, like many hospitals in Nigeria, students quickly learn the importance of improvisation. For example, when essential medical supplies are scarce, you might witness how creative problem solving becomes a core skill, but this environment can also teach you to normalize resource shortages, potentially lowering your expectations of what healthcare should provide. Patients, too, play an unintentional role in shaping the hidden curriculum. Every patient interaction teaches you something beyond the clinical diagnosis. You learn to read emotions, navigate cultural sensitivities, and manage expectations. A patient who insists on a specific treatment might challenge your communication skills, teaching you how to diplomatically balance patient preferences with medical evidence. Lastly, we can't ignore the role of societal norms and expectations. In Nigeria, cultural influences often intersect with medical practice. For example, you might observe how doctors adjust their approach when treating elders, balancing respect for cultural hierarchies with medical professionalism. This teaches you how cultural awareness is just as crucial as clinical competence. These sources, mentors, peers, environments, patients, and societal norms collectively form the hidden curriculum. They don't teach in the traditional sense, but they shape how we think, act, and grow as professionals. The key is awareness. By understanding where these lessons come from, we can choose which one to embrace and which ones to challenge. Now let's look into the impact this hidden curriculum have on we, the medical students. Okay, the hidden curriculum is like a double-edged sword. On one side, it shapes us into adaptable, resilient professionals, but on the other, it can leave scars we don't even realize we have picked up until much later. Let's start with the positive. One of the biggest advantages of hidden curriculum is that it teaches real-world problem solving, something you won't find in any textbook. For example, in a busy Nigerian teaching hospital where resources are limited, you learn how to prioritize tasks, make critical decisions under pressure, and improvise when the ideal tools or medications aren't available. These experiences build a level of mental toughness and ingenuity that prepares you for the realities of medical practice. It also fosters professionalism. Watching senior doctors balance compassion with authority teaches you how to interact with patient colleagues and even the hospital hierarchy. Subtly, you start picking up cues on how to maintain composure in challenging situations, how to communicate effectively, and how to lead a team. But the hidden curriculum isn't always kind on the negative side. It can reinforce harmful norms. Take hierarchical dynamics. For instance, in many hospitals, students often observe situations where their voices are diminished or when junior staff are publicly berated. Over time, this can create a culture of fear where you hesitate to ask a question or share your opinion, even when it's critical. And worse, some might internalize these behaviors, perpetuating the cycle when they themselves become seniors. Then there is burnout. Medical students in Nigeria already deal with long hours, resource constraints, and societal pressure to succeed. The hidden curriculum can amplify these challenges. Imagine constantly witnessing colleagues who never take breaks, who seem to glorify overworking, or who suppress emotions to stay strong. While this might seem like resilience on the surface, it often leads to physical and emotional exhaustion. Ethical conflicts are another significant impact. For example, you might observe situations where doctors are forced to make decisions that prioritize hospital policies and over patient needs. Witnessing these moral gray areas without proper guidance can leave students feeling delusioned or unsure about their own ethical compass. And then there is the silent struggle, imposter syndrome. The hidden curriculum often sets an unspoken standard of perfection. Watching seniors who seem to have it all together might make you question your abilities, even though everyone at some point feels the same uncertainty. But here's the good news. Being aware of these impacts puts you in a position of power. You can reflect on the lessons you are learning, both good and bad, and actively decide which ones to adopt. For instance, if you notice a toxic culture of overwork, you can choose to set boundaries for yourself. If you see empathy lacking in patients' interactions, you can make it your mission to prioritize it. And if you ever feel overwhelmed or unsure, remember that every doctor you admire has faced similar struggles. They just don't talk about it enough. In the end, the hidden curriculum is a teacher, but it's not always right. Your job is to filter its lessons, embrace the ones that make you a better doctor, and challenge the ones that don't. Okay, looking back at my 500 level days, I can vividly recall the moment that resonates deeply with the concept of hidden curriculum, both its challenges and the lessons it can teach. It was a typical ward round in pediatric ward, and I had been assigned to present a patient. I remember standing in front of the patient's bed with my heart racing as I tried to organize my thoughts. I wasn't fully conversant with the condition, but I gave it my best shot, presenting with the knowledge and ability I had at the time. But then, to my greatest surprise, the consultants turned my presentation into a moment of ridicule. They said things like, "Are you speaking from your spinal cord? And it seems like your brain is empty." Each word felt like a blow. I stood there embarrassed and deflated, with my peers and even the patient's family witnessing the moment. That experience left a mark on me. For weeks, I couldn't bring myself to present again. The fear of being humiliated paralyzed me. I started questioning myself. Was I good enough for this profession? Was I even learning the right way? But then something shifted one day. While browsing online, I stumbled across a book titled Mindset by Carol Dweck. It spoke about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, and how failure wasn't the opposite of success, but a necessary step towards it. That book was a revelation. I realized I needed to change how I saw myself and my experiences. I couldn't let anyone else's words define me. Instead, I decided to focus on what I could control: my effort, my willingness to learn, and my ability to try again. So I pushed myself to present again despite the fear. I told myself, even if I stumble, even if I don't get it right, I'm still learning. And slowly, it got better. I began to see ward rounds not as a stage for judgment, but as an opportunity to improve. Looking back now, I understand the hidden curriculum at play. That experience taught me resilience, not because of what the consultant said, but because I chose to rise above it. It taught me the importance of finding my own source of motivation, of building my confidence internally rather than relying on external validation. And perhaps most importantly, it taught me empathy. I vowed that when I become a doctor, I will never belittle someone's effort. Instead, I will guide and encourage them, knowing firsthand how much courage it takes to try, even when you are unsure. So anyone listening who might be going through something similar, I want you to know that it's okay to struggle. It's okay to feel discouraged, but don't let those moments define you. You have to use them as well to grow, to learn, and to become the kind of doctor you aspire to be. Let's take a moment to consider some compelling data. Numbers, after all, have a way of bringing clarity to concepts that might otherwise seem abstract. Did you know that a staggering 80% of medical students report encountering instances of the hidden curriculum during their training? These unspoken lessons are often more influential than the formal curriculum itself. According to research published in the Journal of Medical Education, 72% of students believe that this informal teachings significantly shape their professional behavior. But let's break this down further. While the hidden curriculum can have positive effects like teaching resourcefulness or instilling professionalism, there is also a darker side. A survey revealed that nearly 45% of students admitted feeling demoralized by public criticism during their training, and 38% reported decline in self-esteem after experiencing harsh feedback. And the impact doesn't stop there. A meta-analysis published in BMC Medical Education found that 50% of medical students linked their hidden curriculum experiences to stress, anxiety, or even burnout. In fact, elements of the hidden curriculum are associated with a 25% increase in depression rates among medical trainees. Closer to home, a 2023 survey of Nigerian medical students revealed some striking insights. 70% reported being discouraged from asking questions due to fear of public ridicule. Yet, interestingly, 60% said they learned critical lessons about resilience and empathy by simply observing their mentors in action rather than through formal instruction. These numbers aren't just statistics. They reflect the lived experience of students like you and me. They highlight the dual nature of the hidden curriculum. It has the potential to inspire, but also the power to discourage. And perhaps one of the most intriguing findings is how the hidden curriculum influences career choices. 30% of medical students altered their career paths after unspoken lessons about work-life balance, income disparities, or systemic bias within the healthcare system. What does all this data tell us? It tells us that the hidden curriculum is not something we can afford to ignore. Understanding its patterns is the first step toward addressing its challenges and harnessing its potential to create a more supportive and impactful medical education system. So as we continue, let's keep these insights in mind. Understanding the hidden curriculum is just the first step. The real challenge and opportunity lies in finding ways to navigate it and transform it into a force for good in medical education. So how do we address these unspoken lessons? For students, what they normally want to pick from the hidden curriculum is becoming resilient learners. One of the most important strategies for students is to adopt a growth mindset. It's about seeing every experience, whether positive or negative, as a chance to grow and improve. Remember, mistakes and feedback, no matter how harsh, are stepping stones to improvement. A classic example is the mindset shift many students experience after reading books like Mindset by Carol Dweck This book emphasizes the idea that intelligence and abilities are not fixed. They can be developed through dedication and hard work. Imagine a scenario where you receive harsh criticism during a presentation. Instead of letting it demoralize you, think of it as feedback to help you identify gaps and improve. Shift your focus from what was said to what you can learn from it. This mindset allows you to thrive even in challenging environments. Another critical tool is finding mentors and allies. Every medical student needs someone to look up to. Those who not only teach the formal curriculum, but also model the kind of doctor you aspire to become. Mentors can provide guidance, share insights, and help you navigate the complexities of medical training. At the same time, building relationships with peers who support and uplift you is invaluable. You don't have to walk this journey alone. Look around for those who inspire you, educators who listen, peers who encourage, and even senior colleagues who offer advice. These connections can make all the difference. Finally, students should utilize resources beyond the curriculum. The world of medicine is vast, and formal education can only cover so much. Explore platforms like Medscape, UpToDate, or Coursera to deepen your understanding of topics that interest you. These tools can help fill gaps in your knowledge and give you a broader perspective. In today's digital age, you have the power to access knowledge at your fingertips. Don't limit yourself to lectures, notes. Seek out additional materials to expand your horizon. For educators, the responsibility of role models. I believe this is what educators can the mindset shift they can have in respect to the hidden curriculum. Educators hold immense power in shaping the hidden curriculum. One of the most impactful ways they can contribute is by promoting positive role modeling. Whether they realize it or not, students are constantly observing and learning from their behavior. This means that educators must reflect on their actions and ensure they embody the professionalism and empathy they want to instill in their students. As an educator, your words and actions carry weight. By demonstrating respect, empathy, and integrity, you are teaching far more than the context of a textbook. You are shaping future doctors. Another crucial step is to encourage a safe learning environment. A safe and supportive environment is essential for effective learning. When students feel safe to question or to ask questions, make mistakes, and receive constructive feedback, they can grow without fear of ridicule. Think back to your own training. How did it feel when someone corrected you kindly versus harshly? A little kindness goes a long way. Correct, don't criticize, and watch your student thrive. This goes for the institutions. Reforming medical education. Now, institutions play a vital role in addressing the hidden curriculum by acknowledging its existence. It's time to bring this issue into the light. Students can hold workshops or seminars that help students and faculty understand the hidden curriculum and its impact. By doing so, institutions can empower the community to tackle these challenges heads on. Simple acknowledgement that the hidden curriculum exists can be transformative. It opens the door to conversations and solutions that improve the medical education experience for everyone. Additionally, institutions must support mental health and well-being. Medical training is demanding, and the hidden curriculum often adds to the stress. Providing access to counseling services, peer support groups, and wellness programs can help students navigate the pressure they face. Students are not machines. They are human beings. By offering mental health resources and fostering a culture of care, institutions can ensure that students succeed both academically and emotionally. The hidden curriculum is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can teach valuable lessons about resilience, empathy, and professionalism. On the other hand, It can discourage, demoralize, and even harm. But here's the good news. By consciously addressing its challenges, we can transform the hidden curriculum into a tool that shapes compassionate, resilient, and highly competent medical professionals. The journey begins with awareness and action. Together, we can create a better future for medical education. The hidden curriculum is an undeniable part of medical education, shaping us in ways we often fail to recognize. It holds the power to either inspire or dishearten, to build or to break. But with awareness, intentionality, and a commitment to positive change, we can harness its lessons to become not just better doctors, but better humans. The challenge is clear, but so is the opportunity to rise above the unspoken and redefine what it means to learn, to teach, and to heal. Together, we can make medical education not just a journey, but a transformation. Thank you for spending your time to listen to this content about the hidden curriculum. I'm sure if you apply some of these things into your life as a medical student, or even if you are not a medical student, you apply it, you start to become aware of the hidden curriculum as it unfolds in your journey and your career. And as always, thank you for your interest in medicine.